Young and the Restless next week. Jack's terror, Damian murder? Young and the Restless spoilers for next week. See, there is a murder mystery coming. Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, might be the victim based on some new hints. Plus, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, has some fears and worries about what lies ahead. Also, Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, has a feeling that isn't good. The mystery man turns out to be something of a stalker as his party kicks off with a very wild train ride. Young and the Restless. Upcoming murder mystery spoilers. Dumas's secret agenda shakes Genoa City. Dumas Billy Flynn has big things planned. This is Belinda from. Let's dive into the latest YNR spoilers for the week of June 16th. And definitely subscribe if you have not yet. By the end of this week, on Spooky Friday the 13th, we've got Damian eating breakfast with his mom, Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford, at Society before her son leaves for France. Damian worked for the mystery man Dumas for a while, but he never met him. Amy says the mystery surrounding his ex-boss Dumas is pretty intriguing. But Damian tells his mom he wouldn't even know Dumas if the guy sat down right in front of him. Damian Kane faces trouble, red flags, and suspicions. Amy is impressed with how far Damian has come since his rebel teen years, where he gave her such attitude. It is interesting that he's going along with Lily and the others to Dumas's party. I mean, the guy fired him and then gave Damian an invitation anyway. It's weird. It's a big red flag about Dumas's intentions, I think. As of now, Damian is looking forward to working with Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, and Lily. Everything is lining up great for him. Mother and son, Amy Lewis and Damian's bittersweet farewell. Before he leaves, in another red flag, Amy asks about him forgiving her for lying about his bio dad. Damian says he's happy his mom's back in his life and he is open to forgiveness. So it seems like some sort of closure with Amy, which sounds nice. But the timing to me is an omen. Obviously, she doesn't think Damian going to this party is a good idea. But he tells Amy he's not going to Dumas looking for trouble. He just wants to know what the guy's planning. Then Damian told his mom he's curious. We all know curiosity killed the cat. It's another omen. He tells Amy he's hoping to get closure with Dumas. Damian wants to be reassured that he didn't bring trouble to Lily's door. Lily Winters, Devin Hamilton, and the party mystery. Before we get to the really big hint that has me worried about Damian possibly dying, I've got a couple of other tidbits. Lily, Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, and Nate are talking about Dumas' real identity. They wonder whether it might possibly be Devin's dad, Tucker McCall, Trevor St. John. They don't know what Victor Newman, Eric Braden, does. Tucker's been in prison in India, I believe. Lily brings up Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, being invited. Abby says she thinks Victor set that up. But Abby also defends Victor and insists he wouldn't go after the Winters. Victor Newman's ruthlessness and Abby's concerns. To be fair, I think Abby is wrong. There is nothing that Victor won't do because he is horribly ruthless. Devin, Nate, and Lily also wonder if Dumas is going to recruit them to target Victor, which upsets Abby again. Then Damian and Amy show up, and it's time to get moving to get on that flight to France. Nate Hastings and Amy Lewis share a premonition. After Devin, Lily, Damian, and Abby take off, that's when the real big hint drops. All that's left is Amy and Nate at the apartment. Amy tells Nate that when she hugged Damian goodbye, she got chills down her spine. Nate thinks Amy is just kind of bothered that Damian's leaving town for this trip. But just because of his serious talk with Amy that gave her closure, and then his big plans for the future, and her chilling premonition, I just worry that Damian may not make it back in one piece from Dumas's big party on Young and the Restless. YNR murder mystery. Is Damian Kane the target? With Joshua Morrow saying there's a big murder mystery coming, we know somebody's going to die. I will also say it could be a big fake out that Dumas is doing just to test people. In that regard, Damian could even be in on it. So you can't count out that possibility. Maybe he's conspiring with Dumas and fibbed about being fired. Just different things. Josh Griffith is kind of a sloppy writer, so we have to leave possibilities open. If YNR does kill off Damian, that would be a big deal. Not as huge as killing off a long-time legacy character like Victor, Jack Abbott, or Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Also, if Dumas is a Kane Ashby recast, that could explain Damian as a target because he is really into Lily. He would be competition with Kane to be Lily's love interest. Kane Ashby, Lily Winters, and the love triangle possibilities. You know, she is Kane's ex-wife and the mother of 2 of his 3 kids. So if it is Kane, obviously, he'd probably try to win Lily back. But if somebody dies as promised, it would be out of character if it was Kane to be the killer. He's got a history of being a con man, a liar, and different things, but not a cold-blooded killer. Even if Dumas isn't the person behind the murder, Damian still might be the person who dies. Or again, it could be a fake-out. Dumas might have enlisted Damian to play a twisted party whodunit game to test the guests. Agatha Christie vibes. Train ride kicks off the whodunit. There's also a train ride, which is very Agatha Christie, like Murder on the Orient Express. We'll see Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, sitting with Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, excited that the train's pulling out and they're getting underway. Billy is with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, as he prods Victor, asking if he's ready to head into Dumas' lair. On the train, Lily Winters says that she has got a feeling that things are not going to go the way that they think. Dumas' chateau, topiary labyrinth, and eerie challenges. Next week, once all the guests take the train all the way and arrive at Dumas' chateau, they're not just invited in via the front door. The red carpet isn't being rolled out. It's peculiar. We're going to see Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, along with Jack and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, chatting with Dumas' assistant, that guy Carter, if you remember. It looks like they're heading into some sort of topiary labyrinth. Jack asks Carter if this is a maze. Carter tells Jack, "It is the beginning of your challenge." Dumas watches. Will Y&R characters survive? Meanwhile, we've got Dumas sitting alone in a dark room watching the party guests over a video feed. This is very Agatha Christie. This is very Knives Out. It is a whodunit from the very beginning with these Agatha Christie-esque vibes. It's all very strange. It's all very cryptic. As Joshua Morrow promised, there is a murder afoot. Who will die next week on Y&R? Spoiler questions answered. So, will Damian survive the week? Or will it be some random extra like a maid who is stabbed? Or maybe it will be Dumas's sidekick Carter who croaks, since we've got him in some scenes next week. And the Restless is setting up a week that promises to leave Genoa City reeling, and fans are already buzzing about the shocking developments about to unfold. As the tension rises and loyalties are pushed to their breaking point, one of the most jaw-dropping storylines centers on Jack Abbott, whose world is about to be turned upside down in a way he never saw coming. What starts as another tense week of family conflict and business battles quickly spirals into something far darker when Damian's dangerous presence takes a terrifying turn. Viewers have sensed for weeks that Damian was not just another adversary. His calculated moves, cryptic comments, and unsettling stare have hinted at a man capable of anything. Now, it seems the time has come for the Abbott family to face the full extent of Damian's threat, and the consequences could change everything for Jack. Next week, Jack is haunted by an ominous chain of events that starts with an unexpected phone call. Sources close to the situation reveal that Jack receives disturbing news about Damian's latest maneuver, and it leaves him shaken in a way fans haven't seen in years. Jack has always been a fighter, willing to go to the mat for his family and his company, but this situation hits him differently. There's a sense of dread hanging over him, and those closest to him notice immediately. The stakes are personal now, and the danger is real. Jack's terror isn't just about losing a business deal or being outmaneuvered. It's about facing the very real possibility that someone he cares about could end up dead. Damian's storyline has been building like a slow-burning fuse, and it appears the explosion is imminent. His mysterious background, his manipulative charm, and his growing obsession with power have made him one of the most unpredictable figures in recent Y&R memory. Rumors suggest that his next move involves not just the Abbotts, but also a dangerous alliance that could leave multiple characters in his crosshairs. Jack has tried to keep his cool, relying on strategy and caution, but next week, all bets are off when a shocking incident occurs that may leave blood on someone's hands. Speculation is mounting that a murder mystery is about to ignite, with Damian right at the center. Genoa City has seen its fair share of shocking deaths and sudden disappearances, but the upcoming week may deliver one of the most explosive storylines in recent history. Insiders hint at a tense confrontation that spirals out of control, leading to a violent act that will reverberate through the entire town. Could Damian become the latest casualty? Or is he orchestrating a deadly trap that will ensnare Jack or someone he loves? Jack's increasing terror suggests that he knows something the rest of the family doesn't, something that could explain his uncharacteristic sense of dread. As the walls close in, Jack begins to question his own judgment. His conversations with Diane grow strained as he tries to protect her while also keeping his fears under wraps. Diane, ever protective of her family, picks up on Jack's anxiety and pushes him for answers, but Jack hesitates. He doesn't want to escalate the situation, but his silence may end up costing them dearly. Meanwhile, Kyle is pulled deeper into the situation as Damian starts making veiled threats that suggest he knows more about Kyle's recent missteps than anyone else. This isn't just about business. Damian's tactics are personal, and he's using every piece of leverage he can find to break the Abbott family apart from the inside. In classic YNR fashion, secrets begin to unravel at the worst possible time. Someone close to Damian may betray him, or perhaps they'll betray Jack, setting off a chain reaction that no one can stop. The tension is palpable as characters exchange suspicious glances, half-truths are whispered behind closed doors, and hidden agendas collide. Viewers can expect scenes filled with high-stakes emotion as Jack tries to keep control of a situation that's quickly slipping through his fingers. The question isn't just who will make the next move, it's who will survive it. The speculation about Damian's possible murder has fans theorizing wildly online. Some believe Jack may be forced into a position where he has no choice but to act, while others think Damian could be setting up his own fake death to frame Jack or another Abbott family member. This would fit perfectly with Damian's cunning nature. Why face defeat when you can turn the tables and make your enemies look guilty? There's also the possibility of a third party getting involved, leading to a shocking twist no one saw coming. Perhaps someone else in Genoa City has a grudge against Damian, and they'll seize the chaos as the perfect cover for revenge. What makes this storyline so compelling is the emotional weight behind it. Jack has endured countless betrayals and losses over the years, but there's a vulnerability in him now that makes this arc especially intense. He's not just the confident CEO fighting a rival, he's a man staring into the abyss, knowing that one wrong move could cost him everything. The terror gripping Jack isn't just about Damian's threats. It's about his fear of losing control over his family's legacy, his loved one's safety, and perhaps even his own soul, if he's pushed to extremes. Meanwhile, other characters find themselves tangled in this growing web of danger. Victor Newman, never one to let chaos in Genoa City unfold without inserting himself, may take an interest in the Damian situation. Some whispers suggest Victor sees Damian as both a threat and an opportunity. If Damian falls, Victor may want to ensure the Abbott family takes the blame, furthering his own empire's power. On the other hand, someone like Phyllis could also find herself in the mix, using the chaos to her advantage, or perhaps becoming an unexpected target. As the week progresses, scenes reportedly grow darker and more suspenseful. Jack finds himself in a situation he never imagined, confronting Damian face-to-face with no one else to back him up. It's a moment that could turn deadly. The confrontation is said to take place in a secluded setting, heightening the tension as the two men exchange words that could easily turn into something far more violent. Whether this confrontation ends with Damian's death, Jack's arrest, or a shocking twist remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. This isn't just another business rivalry. This is a dangerous game, and the stakes are life and death. The murder mystery angle also raises questions about how other Genoa City residents will react. If Damian ends up dead, suspicion could fall on multiple people, each with their own motives and secrets. Jack, as his most visible adversary, would naturally be a prime suspect. But what about Diane, who might act out of desperation to protect her husband? Or Kyle, whose impulsiveness could lead to a fatal mistake. Even someone outside the Abbott family might step into the fray, complicating the investigation and setting the stage for weeks of gripping whodunit drama. The fallout from such a murder would be monumental. Jack's reputation, already strained by his recent battles, could take a devastating hit. The Abbott family's unity would be tested like never before, and alliances could fracture in unexpected ways. A police investigation would drag old secrets into the light, and past misdeeds might resurface at the worst possible moment. For Jack, this could be the fight of his life, not just to clear his name, but to keep his family from falling apart. Viewers know that The Young and the Restless thrives on high-stakes drama, emotional intensity, and shocking twists, and this Damian storyline is shaping up to deliver all three in abundance. Whether Damian meets his end next week or sets into motion a series of events that will dominate the coming months, the terror in Jack's eyes is a clear signal to fans. Something big is coming. This isn't just another plotline, it's a turning point. As speculation continues, one thing is certain. The upcoming week will keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Jack's terror, Damian's dark moves, and the looming specter of murder create a potent mix that could reshape Genoa City's power dynamics for months to come. Will Jack emerge as a hero, a victim, or a suspect? Will Damian's death, or survival, ignite a new war? Fans will have to tune in to find out, but one thing's for sure. Nothing will ever be the same again once the dust settles. As the chilling week in Genoa City unfolds, the tension doesn't ease. It tightens like a vice around every member of the Abbott family. Jack's sleepless nights grow longer as the reality of Damian's menace starts to bleed into every corner of his life. The nightmares are relentless, replaying that tense confrontation in his mind before it even happens, and Diane notices the way he paces the living room late at night, a glass of bourbon untouched on the table, lost in thought. Jack is a man who's fought ruthless rivals, faced heartbreak, and rebuilt his life time and time again, but there's something different this time. This is a terror he can't shake, a danger he can't fully control, and it's eating away at his confidence. Behind the scenes, Damian's behavior becomes even more unpredictable. He's seen slipping into clandestine meetings with shadowy figures, exchanging cryptic files, and making vague references to debts that need collecting. No one is sure if he's blackmailing someone in Genoa City or if he's the one being hunted, but what's clear is that Damian is playing a dangerous game with multiple players at once. Whispers around town suggest he has compromising information that could destroy more than one legacy. Some insiders even hint that Damian may have set his sights on taking over Jabot entirely, not through business maneuvering but through sheer terror and manipulation. Kyle finds himself walking a tightrope. He knows more about Damian's shady dealings than he's admitted, and next week, his silence comes back to haunt him. A tense moment between father and son explodes into an argument when Jack presses Kyle for the truth. Kyle, feeling cornered, reveals a chilling detail. Damian once hinted that someone in the Abbott family wouldn't make it to the end of the year. The revelation sends a cold shock through Jack, confirming his worst fears that Damian's threats aren't empty. This new piece of information sets Jack on high alert, and he starts taking precautionary measures to protect his family, including hiring private security and installing new surveillance around the Abbott mansion. Meanwhile, Diane decides to take matters into her own hands. She's never been one to sit back and watch when Jack is in danger. Without telling him, she starts digging into Damian's past, determined to find something that can be used against him. What she uncovers is startling. Damian has a sealed criminal record in another state, one that involves violent assault and obstruction of justice. She realizes Damian is far more dangerous than even Jack believed. Diane shares this discovery with Michael Baldwin, hoping that legal channels might keep Damian at bay, but Michael warns her that Damian is slippery and well-connected. This revelation only deepens the sense of urgency surrounding Jack's family. Elsewhere in Genoa City, the ripple effects of Damian's presence begin to touch other major players. Victor Newman watches from a distance, intrigued by the chaos unfolding. To him, Damian represents both a threat and a golden opportunity. If Jack is consumed by Damian's games, Victor could swoop in and destabilize the Abbott's position in the business world. But Victor isn't reckless. He sends one of his associates to quietly investigate Damian's background. The results that come back shock even Victor, and for once, he hesitates. Damian isn't just a conman or a schemer. He's someone capable of real violence, and that gives Victor pause. For a man like Victor to be cautious, viewers know the threat is serious. Phyllis Summers also enters the fray in a way no one expects. Her natural curiosity and her complicated history with Jack lead her to cross paths with Damian in a hotel lobby, and the exchange between them is electric. Damian sees right through Phyllis's bravado, and his chilling smile unsettles her more than she cares to admit. Phyllis, never one to be intimidated easily, decides to keep an eye on him, but this decision could have dangerous consequences. If Damian suspects Phyllis is snooping, she could easily become collateral damage in his deadly game. As the week progresses, a major turning point comes when Damian invites Jack to a private meeting. The invitation is laced with veiled threats, making it clear that if Jack doesn't show up, there will be consequences. Against his better judgment, Jack goes, determined to end this once and for all. The meeting takes place in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, a classic YNR setting for danger and betrayal. What happens inside remains shrouded in mystery, but what's certain is that the confrontation escalates into something violent. Shouting echoes through the walls, a struggle ensues, and then silence. Later, Jack is seen returning home looking pale, shaken, and distracted. Diane immediately senses something is terribly wrong. Jack can barely explain what happened, his hands trembling as he pours a drink. He claims Damian threatened the entire family, and something in his tone suggests the confrontation ended badly. But before anyone can press for details, Genoa City police receive a chilling call. A body has been found near the warehouse. The identity of the body isn't immediately revealed, but the timing sends shockwaves through the town. Jack's name is whispered in hushed tones, and speculation runs wild. Could Jack Abbott be involved in Damian's possible death? The tension reaches a fever pitch as police investigators close in, questioning Jack about his whereabouts that night. Jack, already consumed by guilt and fear, struggles to keep his composure. If Damian is truly dead, Jack knows he's the prime suspect, and his family's entire future could be on the line. The aftermath of the discovery sends every major character into defense mode. Diane tries to shield Jack from scrutiny, but her fierce loyalty only makes the investigators more suspicious. Kyle is racked with guilt for not revealing Damian's threats sooner, fearing that his silence may have contributed to the deadly outcome. Victor sees an opening to quietly manipulate the situation to his advantage, while Phyllis wrestles with whether to come forward with what she knows about her encounter with Damian. As the investigation deepens, shocking new evidence emerges. Surveillance footage from a nearby street shows Jack's car near the warehouse at the exact time of the altercation. Michael Baldwin scrambles to build a defense strategy, but even he admits the optics look terrible. Jack is forced to face the possibility that even if he's innocent, he could be framed for Damian's murder. And if Damian staged his own death, the trap could be far. Damian's associates start making noise in the shadows. A mysterious figure shows up in Genoa City, claiming to be connected to Damian's business dealings. This stranger starts asking pointed questions about Jack, Diane, and Kyle, suggesting that the fallout from Damian's potential death is far from over. The sense of danger only intensifies as viewers realize that Damian's story may not end with the body. It may be the beginning of a much larger, darker plot. Jack's terror reaches its peak in a haunting scene where he stands alone in the Abbott living room late at night. Rain pours outside, thunder rumbling in the distance, as Jack stares at a framed photo of his family. He whispers to himself, questioning if he's done the right thing, if he's crossed a line he can never uncross, or if he's being drawn into someone else's deadly game. The fear in his eyes is unmistakable. Jack Abbott, the patriarch who's always managed to stay one step ahead, is now a man cornered by forces he can't fully understand. The stage is set for an unforgettable chapter in The Young and the Restless. Whether Damian is truly dead, whether Jack is guilty, or whether a shocking twist will flip everything upside down, one thing is clear: the coming weeks will redefine the Abbott family's legacy. Secrets will unravel, alliances will fracture, and Genoa City will never be the same. In the aftermath of the warehouse incident, Genoa City is gripped by a storm of whispers, suspicions, and explosive emotions. The discovery of the mysterious body sends shockwaves across the community, and Jack Abbott's name becomes the center of a whirlwind of gossip. News spreads quickly through the Genoa City grapevine, from society to Newman Enterprises to the Genoa City Athletic Club, where whispers turn into outright accusations. Some residents believe Jack snapped under pressure, while others are convinced he's being set up. The tension is thick, and everyone is on edge as the investigation heats up. Jack finds himself under intense scrutiny. Detectives begin asking pointed questions, reviewing surveillance footage, and interviewing everyone connected to Damian. Each interrogation leaves Jack more shaken. His usual composure is crumbling under the weight of suspicion and guilt. He can't stop replaying that night at the warehouse in his head, every moment feeling like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Diane stands by him unwaveringly, but even she can't ignore the fact that Jack's story has troubling gaps. His inability to clearly explain what happened only fuels the detective's doubts. Meanwhile, the rest of the Abbott family is thrown into turmoil. Kyle is consumed with guilt, believing his failure to disclose Damian's threats earlier may have contributed to the dangerous spiral. His relationship with Summer strains under the pressure as his temper flares, and his anxiety reaches a breaking point. Ashley, watching everything unfold from a distance, grows increasingly concerned about the family legacy. She knows how fragile public perception can be, and she worries that one wrong move could cost Jabot its reputation permanently. Billy, always torn between loyalty to his brother and his own complicated impulses, starts to wonder if Jack is telling him everything. These fractures within the Abbott family only make the situation more volatile, creating an emotional powder keg ready to ignite. The police investigation intensifies when forensic results begin to trickle in. The body discovered near the warehouse is confirmed to be Damian, sending shockwaves through Genoa City. The cause of death is blunt force trauma, and investigators reveal that evidence suggests a violent struggle took place. What rattles Jack the most is when detectives inform him that his fingerprints were found at the scene, not just on objects that could be explained away, but in places that make it seem like he was directly involved in the altercation. Michael Baldwin urges Jack to stay calm, but even the seasoned attorney knows they're facing an uphill battle. Outside the Abbott household, other key players seize the moment to maneuver strategically. Victor Newman, ever the opportunist, quietly explores ways to weaken Jabot during this scandal. If Jack goes down for murder, Victor sees a chance to destabilize the Abbott family's hold over their company. However, even Victor is surprised by the ferocity of the police investigation. This isn't a simple case of suspicion. It's beginning to look like someone deliberately framed Jack with precision. Victor considers whether someone outside their usual circle might be orchestrating the entire situation, perhaps someone tied to Damian's shadowy network. Phyllis Summers, who has been wrestling with her conscience since her encounter with Damian, finally decides to step forward. She meets with Michael privately and reveals the unnerving details of her interaction with Damian shortly before his death. She describes his unsettling calmness, his cryptic remarks about cleaning house, and the way he seemed to be setting a trap for Jack. Michael immediately realizes this testimony could be crucial, but they must tread carefully. If Damian orchestrated his own demise or had accomplices, Phyllis might have just made herself a target. Back at the Abbott mansion, the emotional toll on Jack reaches a devastating peak. In one of the week's most powerful scenes, Jack stands alone in his study at night, surrounded by the shadows of his family's history. He stares at the portrait of John Abbott, remembering his father's values, the sense of honor he tried to uphold, and the legacy he's fought to protect. Jack whispers into the darkness, questioning whether he's failed his family. For decades, he's been the protector, the leader, the one who rises when others falter. But now, as the threat of a murder charge looms, he feels like everything he's built could crumble in an instant. As detectives prepare to bring formal charges against Jack, a stunning twist shakes the case. A piece of new evidence surfaces, a mysterious set of security footage from a nearby industrial site. The grainy video appears to show Damian leaving the warehouse alive, long after Jack's confrontation ended. This revelation throws the entire investigation into disarray. If Damian walked away, then who killed him afterward? Was he ambushed by someone else? Did one of his own associates turn on him? Or is this yet another layer of Damian's intricate game designed to push Jack to the breaking point? Michael pounces on the new evidence, demanding that the detectives reassess their timeline. Jack, momentarily relieved, begins to hope that the truth might finally come to light. But just as the pressure seems to ease, another shocking development emerges. A witness steps forward claiming they saw Jack and Damian arguing violently outside the warehouse earlier that night. Their testimony is damning, and suddenly the case swings back toward Jack as the prime suspect. The emotional roller coaster takes a toll on everyone, especially Diane, who struggles to keep the family united as the walls close in. Meanwhile, the mysterious figure tied to Damian's criminal dealings makes their move. They start appearing in unexpected places, outside Jabot, near the Abbott mansion, watching from the shadows. Their motives remain unclear, but their presence suggests Damian's death was not a random act. To have a vested interest in keeping Jack off balance, perhaps as part of a larger plan that goes beyond one man's death. Viewers are left wondering whether Damian's murder was just the first step in a much bigger power grab that could rock Genoa City to its core. In a dramatic cliffhanger, Jack receives an anonymous envelope delivered to his office. Inside is a single photograph, Damian standing alive with the mysterious figure, time-stamped just hours before the body was discovered. Scrawled on the back are the chilling words, "You're next." Jack's hands shake as he realizes the nightmare is far from over. Whether Damian faked his death, was part of a larger conspiracy, or is being used as a pawn in someone else's game, one thing is certain: Jack Abbott is caught in the middle of a deadly storm. As the week comes to a close, the atmosphere in Genoa City is electric with anticipation. The Damian murder mystery has spiraled into something far more dangerous than anyone expected. Jack's terror, once an internal struggle, has now become a tangible force gripping the entire Abbott family. Loyalties are being tested, secrets are surfacing, and dark forces are closing in. The upcoming episodes promise shocking courtroom drama, unexpected betrayals, and revelations that could permanently alter the power structure of Genoa City. In true Young and the Restless fashion, nothing is as it seems, and every character is a potential suspect, ally, or enemy. Jack's journey from confident patriarch to a man fighting to clear his name is setting the stage for one of the most intense arcs in recent memory. Whether Damian's murder is solved quickly or unravels over months of intrigue, fans can expect jaw-dropping twists, emotional showdowns, and the kind of explosive storytelling that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. The week in Genoa City takes an even darker turn as Jack Abbott finds himself in the eye of a storm he can't escape. Following the shocking discovery of Damian's body and the swirling evidence that points to him, Jack is officially brought in for questioning, and the tension in his eyes tells a story no words could capture. The Abbott mansion, usually a place of comfort and strategy, becomes a fortress of worry. Diane tries to keep her composure, but every knock on the door or ring of the phone spikes her anxiety. Jack's terror, once private, is now public, and the community is abuzz with speculation. Michael Baldwin, never one to underestimate the stakes, immediately begins strategizing a defense, knowing that Genoa City's court of public opinion will be as ruthless as any legal jury. He reminds Jack that in soap history, perception can often be as lethal as evidence. Jack struggles with his own doubts, replaying every interaction with Damian, every step he took near the warehouse, wondering if a single misstep has doomed him. The looming trial isn't just about proving his innocence. It's about protecting his legacy, his family, and everything he has built over decades. News spreads quickly through the city. Victor Newman, ever the opportunist, quietly maneuvers his people to observe the case's progress, seeing potential openings to destabilize the Abbott family. Phyllis Summers, torn between loyalty and fear, weighs whether to testify, knowing that her revelation could either save Jack or put her directly in danger if Damian's shadowy allies are still at play. Kyle is consumed by guilt, realizing that his silence about Damian's threats might complicate the defense and questioning whether he can face the courtroom without crumbling under pressure. As court day arrives, the drama is palpable. Reporters line the steps of the courthouse, cameras flashing, capturing every tense moment as Jack walks through the doors. The courtroom is packed with Genoa City's elite, each waiting to witness the unraveling of one of the Abbott family's most closely guarded reputations. Michael Baldwin stands resolute beside Jack, prepared to dismantle the prosecution's case piece by piece, yet the stakes could not feel higher. Jack's every move, his every word, is scrutinized by family, friends, and enemies alike. The prosecution lays out a chilling case. Surveillance footage, eyewitness accounts, and forensic evidence are presented, painting a picture of a violent struggle at the warehouse. The timeline is meticulously detailed, showing Jack in close proximity to Damian before the discovery of the body. Gasps ripple through the courtroom as each piece of evidence is unveiled, and Jack's usual confidence begins to waver under the weight of implication. Diane reaches for his hand across the bench, silently reassuring him that she believes in his innocence, even as the room seems to close in around them. Witness after witness steps forward, each adding layers of tension and doubt. Some testify about Damian's manipulative and dangerous behavior, hinting that he had made multiple enemies who might have had motive to harm him. Others, however, present moments of Jack's confrontation with Damian, moments that appear heated and intense, making the jury question whether the situation could have escalated beyond control. The emotional strain on Jack is evident. The man who has always been the pillar of his family now looks vulnerable, uncertain, and terrified of what may come next. Then, a shocking twist shifts the courtroom into chaos. A new piece of evidence is entered, a grainy security video from a nearby industrial site showing Damian leaving the warehouse alive after Jack's confrontation. The courtroom erupts in murmurs and disbelief. If Damian walked away, who was responsible for the body discovered later? Michael Baldwin seizes the moment, demanding that the prosecution explain the discrepancy and suggesting that someone else may have set Jack up to take the fall. The jury, the courtroom, and viewers alike are left questioning everything they thought they knew about the case. Amid the legal battle, Jack grapples with personal turmoil. Diane, Kyle, and Ashley provide support, but the fear of losing everything looms heavy over him. The Abbott family faces relentless scrutiny from both the public and the press. Headlines scream accusations and speculation, each one a reminder that in Genoa City, even innocence cannot shield a person from judgment. Jack's mind races with every possibility. Could Damian have staged his own death? Is there a larger conspiracy at work? Are Damian's mysterious associates watching and manipulating events from the shadows? The uncertainty gnaws at him relentlessly, feeding the terror that first ignited in the warehouse confrontation. As the trial continues, the courtroom scenes become a gripping blend of suspense, strategy, and emotion. Witnesses contradict each other, alliances shift, and the tension rises to a fever pitch. Michael Baldwin maneuvers skillfully, highlighting inconsistencies and planting doubt, yet every revelation seems to reveal more questions than answers. The Abbott family watches anxiously, knowing that the outcome of this trial could define not only Jack's freedom, but the future of their entire legacy. Every testimony, every piece of evidence, and every reaction in the courtroom is magnified under the relentless scrutiny of a city that thrives on drama and scandal. In a climactic moment, the prosecution calls a surprise witness, someone claiming to have seen Damian alive days after the alleged murder. This revelation throws the courtroom into upheaval. Immediately pivots, using the testimony to cast doubt on the timing and circumstances of Damian's death. Jack sits frozen, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him, yet a glimmer of hope ignites. Could this be the key to proving his innocence? Or is it yet another twist in Damian's labyrinthine game? The tension is unbearable, the stakes higher than ever, and viewers are left gripping their seats, knowing that Genoa City will never feel the same again. The tension in the courtroom reaches an almost unbearable level as the trial enters its most critical moments. Jack Abbott, once the picture of control and confidence, now sits rigid, his hands trembling slightly as the judge calls for the final arguments. The gallery is packed with Genoa City's elite, journalists, and curious onlookers, all hanging on every word. Michael Baldwin rises first, his voice steady and commanding, dissecting the prosecution's claims with surgical precision. He emphasizes the inconsistencies in the timeline, highlights the possibility of Damian's own manipulations, and stresses the lack of concrete evidence directly linking Jack to the fatal act. The jury leans forward, captivated by Baldwin's reasoning, yet the air remains electric with suspense. The prosecution counters with a passionate plea, painting Jack as a man pushed to the edge by Damian's provocations. Every word is delivered with calculated intensity, reminding the courtroom of Jack's previous altercations with rivals, his heated confrontation at the warehouse, and the fingerprints found at the scene. The tension is nearly tangible, and Jack's fear mirrors the pulse of the entire city. Diane clutches his hand beneath the bench, whispering words of encouragement, but the fear in her eyes is unmistakable. The Abbott family's fate, both personal and professional, rests precariously on the verdict that looms ahead. Just when it seems the case has reached a peak of tension, the courtroom doors swing open, and a mysterious figure steps forward. It is the same person who has been shadowing Damian's movements, a previously unseen associate claiming insider knowledge about Damian's schemes. The witness delivers a bombshell. Damian was orchestrating a plan to fake his own death to frame Jack and destabilize the Abbott family. The courtroom gasps in unison. Jack exhales shakily, relief washing over him for the first time, yet the fear lingers because the true scope of Damian's manipulation remains a mystery. The judge calls for a brief recess, and Jack steps outside the courtroom to catch his breath. The press swarm him instantly, shouting questions and capturing every moment. Jack's terror has not dissipated. It has merely transformed into a careful, calculated vigilance. He knows that while the immediate threat of conviction may have lessened, Damian's web of influence and the unknown accomplices still pose a danger to him and his family. Diane wraps an arm around him, providing quiet reassurance as he confronts the enormity of the situation. Kyle and Ashley join them, united in silent support, each realizing that their family's battle has become more than just legal, it has become existential. As the courtroom reconvenes, the jury listens intently to the new testimony. Michael Baldwin skillfully frames Damian as a master manipulator, someone whose threats and machinations reached far beyond Jack, ensnaring multiple players in a deadly game. He urges the jury to consider not just the physical evidence, but the broader context of Damian's dangerous persona. The prosecution, visibly shaken by the unexpected twist, struggles to maintain credibility as the mysterious associate's testimony dismantles key points of their argument. Every detail Baldwin emphasizes strengthens Jack's case, shifting public perception and casting doubt on the earlier narrative that painted him as guilty. The final day of the trial arrives, and the city holds its collective breath. Genoa City residents watch news reports, social media buzzes with speculation, and friends and foes alike await the outcome. Jack sits in the courtroom, tense but composed, as the judge instructs the jury to deliberate. Minutes stretch into hours, each tick of the clock echoing like a drumbeat of suspense. Diane's hand remains on his shoulder, a steady anchor in the storm of fear and uncertainty. The Abbott family's unity is tested like never before, but in this moment, their loyalty and resilience shine through. When the jury finally returns, the room is thick with anticipation. The four-person stands, voice ringing clear. Jack Abbott is found not guilty. Relief floods the courtroom and the Abbott family, but the victory is bittersweet. Jack exhales, feeling the crushing weight of fear slowly lift, yet he knows that Damian's shadow still lingers over Genoa City. The city may have temporarily exonerated him, but the emotional scars, the family tension, and the lingering threat of Damian's associates remain very real. The aftermath of the trial is intense. Headlines proclaim Jack's exoneration, yet the scandal has left a permanent mark on the Abbott legacy. Victor Newman, while outwardly restrained, eyes the unfolding situation with his usual calculating precision, knowing that even a cleared name can be leveraged in the right hands. Phyllis Summers, whose testimony played a pivotal role, reflects on the thin line between courage and danger, realizing that her involvement may have painted a target on her back. Kyle and Summer, shaken by the events, vow to remain vigilant, knowing that Genoa City's undercurrents of intrigue rarely dissipate completely. Even as the immediate legal threat is lifted, the emotional and psychological toll on Jack is evident. He retreats briefly to the Abbott mansion, seeking solace and contemplating the fragility of life, trust, and legacy. Diane stays close, offering unwavering support, and together they try to navigate the storm's lingering effects. The courtroom victory, while monumental, does not erase the fear, the uncertainty, or the danger that Damian's manipulations have unleashed. The city is left with one undeniable truth. Genoa City has witnessed yet another chapter of high-stakes drama, where loyalty, fear, and cunning collide. Jack Abbott has survived the courtroom battle, but the shadow of Damian's schemes looms large. The suspense, the emotional intensity, and the shocking twists of this storyline promise to reverberate for weeks, leaving viewers captivated, anxious, and eager to see what happens next in a city where danger and intrigue lurk around every corner.